see that?
It has to come from the players, and when it truly starts coming from the players, that's when you're going to see the biggest leap. And you know, I've been with a lot of different teams in a lot of different situations, and it's no different. And so to watch our guys now and the physicality that they bring to the table, and the communication and the attention to detail, them embracing it, all that stuff, to watch it and hear everything being echoed that we're trying to talk about, you feel good for the group, because especially when they have some success doing it, because you know, in my heart, my soul, I know at the end of the day, if we want to reach levels that we've never attained, we're going to have to be able to defend. And I want to make sure everybody knows that doesn't mean I'm not going to coach offense. Offense is very important. We need to shoot threes, we need to play fast, we need to space the floor, we need to attack. We're going to practice a lot of offense. But we need to defend too.
Mike, Keegan tonight, it was a coming of age game for him. We've seen him have the big 45-point or 47-point game early in the season. But just to watch him hunt shots in that first quarter, how good did that make you feel to see him, like the light bulb going off and him understanding just how much impact he can have on a game for you guys?
No, it's great, and you know, we've talked about it all year. You know, last year Keegan was just a spot up catch and shoot 3-point shooter, you know, and all season, you know, he's tried to step back three, he's got the paint, shot his little leaner, and you know, as a coach, he's a young guy. You know, at times, even for his teammates, it can be a little frustrating, but you know, he can end up being great with that stuff. And so you got to keep giving him the freedom and the confidence to do it. And his teammates have backed him all year, we've backed him all year, and you know, it's just a matter of time, in my opinion, before all those shots that he's taking and moves he's making from all three levels become secondhand to him. It's a lot of fun to watch his growth on both ends of the floor.
Mike, you talk a lot about imposing will, and given, you know, you're playing that team that you've seen firsthand do what it does in the third quarter, what stood out to you about the way De'Aaron imposed his will, scoring 14 points in the third after halftime?
He got to his spots. You know, that's what he started with. He used his speed, which is second to none in this league, and he got to his spots. And you know, one of the things that I've talked about with Foxy is he's already a great player. You know, he's had a great individual career for a young guy already. But he can be a great player that wins at the highest of high levels. He's that good. And the great ones that win at the highest levels, they have another gear that they get to, you know, when it's go time. And when you look at them, you never see them tired. They take it to another gear, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to go rattle off 15 straight points. They take it to another gear and get to their spots because they're that good to score. Or if they draw 2-3 defenders, they get to their spots and they make their other teammates better. They make the game easier for their teammates. And to me, that's what Foxy showed. We switched up his rotation tonight. He played two bursts. He played a long first one and a semi-long second one. And he looked good. He got to his spots, and he made plays for himself. He made plays for his teammates like he's supposed to. And that's a step in the right direction in terms of figuring out how to be great. Not just a great individual player, a great winning player. They can take your team to heights that it's not used to.
How did you feel beating the team that not only did you coach there for a while, but the guys that you coached for so many years, how did you feel about beating them and ending their season?
I didn't care who we played. It was about getting a win. And Steve Kerr is the most competitive guy. Blonde hair, blue eyed, good looking dude that looks like the All-American guy. But he's about winning, whoever's in front of him. He wanted to kick my ass or our ass. Trust me, I wanted to kick his ass or his team's ass because they were in front of us. But, you know, in terms of it being Golden State or anybody, I don't care who's in front of us. We want to win.
Coach, you know probably better than anyone that a scoreless night from Klay Thompson doesn't really happen often. How are you guys able to make that happen?
Like I said, I thought our guys did a great job with their physicality defensively. We did a pretty good job with our switching when we needed to switch. We did a pretty good job with our contests. But you know what, you also need players to miss some. And he probably had a couple of looks that normally go in. But hopefully at the end of the day, it was an accumulation of us just trying to make it hard on him and trying to make him feel like there were bodies around him. But he's a great player. He's a Hall of Famer. And he just had one of those nights, and everybody does.
Mike, I'm going to ask you to talk about Keon Ellis a little bit more. Just reading some of the reaction instantly, it seems like an arrival game for him, where a lot of people are suddenly discovering and figuring out who he is. And it's kind of a two-parter. The first part is talking about his journey in the moment for him and celebrating him in this game, but also his story and how a two-way player can turn into someone who has big minutes on a big stage like this.
But the crazy part about it is I'll never forget coming into the season, we had Keon, Kobe, and let's see who's on our roster. Keon, Kobe, and
Jalen?
no, I can't. Oh, and Davion. We had those three guys, and you know, we were like, okay, well, maybe any three of those guys could play the backup point, you know, or get minutes there every once in a while. And obviously, Davion did a good year for us last year, so he was the front runner. And for me, I was like, okay, Kobe's number 2 and Keon's number 3. He's a two-way guy, and it'd be great for him to get a little bit more experience in the G League. And in practice, he just started doing things that were kind of interesting. And then I tell you what, the 2 games that we got blown out in Houston, just throwing him out there and seeing how he impacted the game and how he navigates screens. Like, he navigates screens like a veteran. He's hard to screen in the pick and roll. Davion is because he presses up and he's fast and he's strong. He's like a pit bull, Keon because he's just so slinky, if that's a word, he just moves. It's like what's the movie with the dude like
Matrix? The Matrix?
Matrix, like the Matrix. He gets over screens and doesn't get screens, and I don't know how he does it for such a young guy. To me, I'm amazed at it. And then he gets his hands on balls often and tries to rebound, and he's confident. I yell at him, and he's just like, "Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Well, this is what I was doing." Like, he does not. He just normal. He doesn't get rattled. He doesn't get pissed. And I'm like, And so the more I played him, I was like, okay, wow, maybe at the end of the day, it's him. And he got in some big games. He did some great things for us. Some of the things that stood out, he started at the point when Foxy was out against Portland, and he started again against Oklahoma City, against Shea, and he does things to guys that you don't really see guys in the league do. And next thing you know, everybody from ownership on down is like, we gotta convert him. And, I mean, you know, you saw signs of it early, but man, there was no way that I could tell you that he'd be in the position he's in right now, but every time we've given him an opportunity, he just keeps getting better and better and better. And like I said, he started out just being a catch and shoot guy. And now he's making plays. Keon, you gotta stay down though, man. You keep jumping in the air. Gotta play off of two, play off of two, play off of two. Other than that, I'm excited about his growth potential. It's great that he performed on a stage like this, and everybody out there in the NBA world is starting to know who he is. But for us, sometimes you gotta find diamonds in the rough. You know, I'm not saying Keon is Jokic. Okay? I am not saying Keon is Jokic, please. But I think Jokic was a second-round pick. Draymond was a second-round pick. You know, and to find guys like that that can be impactful, whether they're a starter or even a rotational player, that's huge, you know, and I give Monty and Wes a lot of credit, you know, because he's helped us tremendously, and obviously he's gonna have an opportunity to help us going forward for many years.
Coach, back here. No step stool needed this time.
I see that.
Hey, we've been kind of like dancing around this topic, kind of like the Matrix, as you
Okay.
referenced.
Okay.
You imposed your will. You talked about Klay Thompson. You're the only one in this room that has been with this Warriors team as you saw this dynasty grow and prosper. That said, the knee-jerk reaction of Dub Nation is that it's over for the big three. What say you, Coach?
I mean, you got 3 Hall of Famers. I don't know. Those guys still, in my opinion, can play, but the reality of it is not my problem. It's not my concern. We're getting ready for New Orleans, but those 3 guys, in my opinion, are special. I mean, I was a part of many championships and many good memories with them, and whatever they decide to do at the end of the day, that's what they decide to do. But the only other team I'm looking at right now is New Orleans Pelicans, and not those guys.
Coach Brown, I'm not gonna ask you about the 8-man rotation that you use most of the night, so I'll just go straight to this question because I respect Shannon. Yes, now you have to, seem like you have to reset, erase the board and start all over. You're not out the woods yet. You're still trying to make the playoffs. You got one more shot to do it. What do you have to say about that challenge for, you, your coaching staff and your players?
It's the same thing. You know, we know what we have to do against New Orleans, and we know we can't relax against them. They're a very, very good team. They're well coached. They got length, they got shooting, they got inside scoring. Our formula is the same. We gotta hit first, we gotta hit second, we gotta hit third. We gotta get out in transition and not play against their set defense all the time. And we have to have different guys step up like tonight. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they gotta step up and score 35 or 40 or anything like that, but they have to bring to the table whatever they can bring to help us win. And just like Golden State, just like we've seen in the past, they're gonna do this to the paint. Their paint defense is one of the best in the league, and if we feel we got 2 or 3 guys around us when we hit the paint, whether it's off of a dribble drive, it's off of a roll, it's off of a post up, it's off of an offensive rebound, spray it. Spray that ball and shoot it if you're open. If you're not, snap drive and put pressure on the defense again at the rim. But we got to bring it on Friday against this team.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, Coach.
Congrats.